Just to be sure that people...
To ensure the security of, especially when they're talking to the students, so to ensure the security of the parents, of the students, of the families they're dealing with, and also other staff in the office. So we take care of that as a company.
What are the kind of profiles that you look at? What is your screening or selection criteria when you start getting people involved, or when you start hiring people?
Right. For teachers, they have to have either a bachelor's or a master's degree in math or in science, and they have to have minimum of 4 to 5 years of teaching experience. So those are the primary requirements, and then we test them on many other things, like, you know, obviously English is one of the major criteria. They have to know that, and their content knowledge, how thorough they are with math and the content itself. And then the whole training process starts about the pronunciations, about the US curriculum, about the courses, about the difference between the math in India and the math over here, and all that training starts then.
Okay, well, that's interesting. You mentioned the math in India and the math in the US. So can you give a certain example of what could be different at that level? What could be different at that level? How is it different to, say, teach math to a third grade student here as compared to a third grade student in India?
I wouldn't know specifically like what are the topics, but I do know that people are way fast in India. Like when you start algebra, you are young. You start it when you are maybe in the 5th or 6th grade, or at least they start introducing you to the subject, and they push you. And even if you are in 6th grade, they'll be teaching you a little bit higher math, and in your test they'll be giving you tougher problems. So it's a little bit, they don't go that high level of math over here. So I think that's the primary difference, and especially the curriculum is different, just the way it is designed. Like here we have Algebra 1, Algebra 2. In India, it's not divided as in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, pre-algebra. So just the terminology and all those things differ a little bit, but the content part remains the same.
Okay. And so you mentioned that you have to train them on various things. One, of course, the differences in the subject, then pronunciation, and the cultural, you know, getting familiar with the culture of this country or of the students that they will have to deal with.
Right.
So how's the journey? I mean, how long do you think does it take for you to train people in all these aspects? And which one do you think is more challenging than the other?
I don't do the training myself, because we have trained staff already and academic directors who hire and train the teachers. So it's not challenging, because the process is all set. So it's all, you know, it's all step by step, and we just tell them a little bit about the pronunciations, about the accent, about the culture, and then we do quite a few trial runs to make them familiar with the technology. So before they actually take their first tutoring session, they are so much confident, and they also look at other teachers when they are teaching kids.
So
like
you have
when
some
we hire
videos that you show them as to how the sessions would progress?
Yeah, we have a couple of videos, and also when live teaching is going on, so they sit in the background and they just watch the tutor teach the student, and they can hear the student as well. So they're very well groomed and prepared before they take their first session.
Yeah, that's a great way of letting them know as to what to expect, right?
Exactly, and also accent, and we ask them to watch a few shows just to familiarize themselves with the accent and all of that. So it's a new learning experience for them, but so far, luckily, it hasn't been a bottleneck, or we haven't faced any challenges.
Great.
Because they are excited themselves to learn so much and to talk to the students and all of that.
I'm sure it's helping those people a lot. I can imagine how grateful the people in India must be feeling to get this kind of an employment opportunity.
Right.
You know, when we have a dearth of it there. So I guess your company, like you said, it's a 2 years old company. What's the approximate size? How many teachers and how many students do you have as of now?
We have approximately 10 to 12 teachers right now, and we have worked with about 150 odd families so far.
Right.
So, and then we have about 4 to 5 people in our academic team. And we are constantly hiring new teachers because the new academic year just started here. It's September. So we are hiring more teachers and training them.
That's your peak time when the academic year starts?
Yeah. Summer is usually slow. There are some students who obviously study during summer, but most of them start when the academic year starts. So September it starts increasing, and October, November, December, all these months are the peak when usually people get their first grade and they don't do that well. So October, November, it keeps on increasing.
Great. Okay, so so now that your company is grown and well established, what are the plans for future? How do you see your next 2 years, 5 years with Click and Climb?
We just want to grow. I mean, if we have 150 students, we just want them to be 300, 400. So we are constantly innovating and trying to come up with new subjects also, because right now we just have math, and we are planning to start physics and chemistry soon. So we are working on the curriculum, and we are increasing our marketing efforts and everything. We are doing a lot of online marketing to reach more and more students. So the plan is to reach at least about 300 students by the end of this year, and then keep on growing.
That's almost double it.
Yep.
Good. Great. And so we talked about the teachers aspect of it. We talked about the students aspect of it. And I know in the beginning you mentioned that you thought it would be so great to start something like this, because when you were studying, you would have really could done with that help. You could have really appreciated a tutor teaching you something like that. Is there anything else that your growing years, your childhood helped you in formalizing this concept? Is there anything else that from your own experience of your studying times, of your student life, that helped you either start or grow this business, or sort of define the process?
Yeah, I mean, my transition from India to the US helped me a lot, because as I said, we are all so used to having a lot of help back there. If you don't do well in school, you can line up 5 tutors to teach you. So I think this transition made me learn a lot, and when I came here, I knew that there was no help. I mean, you are on your own, so you have to leave all your inhibitions and everything behind, and just be very open to take up new challenges. So yeah, that's what I learned.
Nice. Yeah. We always life always teaches us things.
That's true.
Okay. And do these students have to sign for a whole year, or how does it work? Can you just sign for a couple of months?
Yeah, there is no contract, which is the best part. Parents really appreciate that. So they can just enroll, and even if they want to take 5 sessions, they just need help with their homework. They just need tutoring for 2 months when the peak exam or the test time is. So it's completely flexible.
Okay, and I'm sure that'd be very helpful for people. They can just decide what kind of help they want.
Yeah. Sometimes they just take a break for the summer and they come back in September. So we're completely flexible with that. So we don't bind them by any sort of contract.
So do you plan to, you mentioned that right now it's basically targeted at American and Canadian, and you have a few Canadian students. Do you plan to expand it in other places, in other countries?
Right now we are just focusing primarily on the US market, but we do want to bring this concept back to India and start something in India, because there are all these huge cities, Bombay and Delhi. Students spend so much time just commuting 4 hours, and now increasingly all the families have broadband connections and computer and internet at their home. So I've been talking to people, and there is an increasing need for this business even in India. So if at all, we are planning to launch something in India also.
So Surbi, well, it was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much.
I know this is the peak time for your business, so
Yeah.
all the very best with
Thank you so
that,
much.
and all the very best with your future plans.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoy the festive time with your students.
Thank you.
And I, on behalf of our viewers, thanks for all the tips that you've given for a new
Okay.
business.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.